I want you to think about your bedroom for a second. You know, that private, locked door sanctuary where you sleep alone or maybe with just one other person. It feels totally normal, right? Well, for pretty much all of human history, that idea would have seemed bizarre, incredibly lonely, and honestly, a little bit dangerous. Okay, let's dive into the surprising history of how we sleep. So we have to start with the most basic question of all. Is our modern habit of sleeping all by ourselves actually normal? Well, if you look at history and you look around the globe, the answer is a big, loud no. What we think of as a fundamental need, the private bedroom, is an invention that's barely a couple hundred years old.
It's how most people on the planet live right now. Turns out we're the weird ones. So, what was it actually like back when everyone slept together?
Well, for thousands of years, families would all pile into a single bed. Kings would share a mattress with their political allies, and strangers at an inn, they'd just spoon under one blanket without even thinking twice about it. It was just what you did. This quote from historian Lucy Worsley just nails how casual the whole thing was. You wouldn't just share with family, but with your coworkers and, yeah, even with complete and total strangers. The whole concept of personal space as we know it just didn't exist.
Now, a huge reason for this comes down to simple economics. Back in medieval and early modern times, a proper bed with a mattress and frame was a serious luxury item. I mean, it was often the single most valuable thing a family owned, worth more than their tools, sometimes more than their livestock. Beds were so important they were specifically listed out in people's wills.
And if you want to know just how valuable, check this out. In 1539, just to move the Scottish king's bed 20 miles cost the equivalent of over $100,000 in today's money.
For kings like Richard the Lionheart and Philip of France, sleeping in the same bed was basically political theater. It was a public sign of a deep alliance. It also meant security. In a world with no police, you were safer piled together from burglars, and apparently from hobgoblins. And you know that term bedfellow? It just meant a close, intimate friend, nothing more.
And this wasn't just for people in the Middle Ages. We're talking about future presidents here. When a young, broke Abraham Lincoln moved to Springfield, Illinois, a shopkeeper named Joshua Speed offered to share his bed with him. And they slept in that same double bed for almost 4 years. Nobody thought it was weird at all. Even America's founding fathers did it. You have this hilarious story from 1776, where John Adams and Benjamin Franklin had to share a bed at a super-crowded inn. Adams, being worried about the cold night air, slammed the window shut. Franklin immediately launched into this long, scientific lecture on why fresh air was good for you. And Adams wrote that he was so amused by Franklin's bickering that he just fell asleep.